Hello, welcome to my channel. I hope you find this helpful or a blessing to your soul. I'm struggling with my hatred for atheists, atheism. Maybe it's the hatred for the worldview. Is that justified? Is it okay to hate atheists? Well, let me read what Psalm 139:21 to 22 says. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. So that would suggest that it's okay to hate atheists or atheism. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. And I'm thinking, I hate them because they hate God. And they do, basically, they do. They want nothing to do with God, and they hate God. And they hide it under this facade of we don't believe in God. They just hate God and want nothing to do with him. And they have to make up this fairy tale that we evolved from monkeys, the convenient narrative, which is absurd. I mean, that's why I hate them. Am not I grieved with those who rise up against thee? The whole evolutionary narrative was to replace the Christian narrative, the creation narrative. And they are, in all intents and purposes, enemies of God. And I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Okay. They rise up against God. They hate God. I hate them. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? I mean, atheists are they're the biggest fools that ever walked this earth. They are such fools. Such pitiful fools who live in the vanity of their own thinking, who think that their authority is in their own mind, and they can just make stuff up, like this evolution. That's how foolish they are. They will defend it with a death grip, although all evidence, anyone who understands how genomes work and reproduction knows that no species can, all species, whether it's human or fly, are limited by their genome. Anyone who understands that, and the people who actually argue against it, and someone actually told me that the evidence for the eye evolution is through gene duplication. They actually told me that over millions of years, from two light sensitive cells to what we have today, was created through gene duplication, and that they use this kind of language, gene duplication, copy errors, copy mistakes. And they actually pointed out the PAX6 gene, which many species share, which is a gene that activates eye development. So the eye wouldn't develop in the first place without the gene. But the gene's only purpose or existence is to trigger the development. Of course, you've got to have genes that trigger development. So it just shows irreducible complexity, right? In fact, the PAX6 gene, when it mutates, if it mutates in the womb at conception, the eye doesn't develop properly, and they usually become blind or something. That's why people were born blind or with undeveloped eyes, because the PAX6 gene mutates. So how can mutations create beneficial results when all observable mutations produce, in genetic information, right, well, that doesn't work properly. They're mistakes. If the information is complex, and if it's not, if there's a mistake, if it's underdeveloped, then the whole system crashes. So the PAX6 gene, but they'll say, but because all the different species have this PAX6 gene, that proves that they all evolved from a common ancestor. That's how they use this simplistic, indoctrinated, dogmatic evidence for evolution. But even though they all share the PAX6 gene, that the actual eye information is completely different. A fly's eye is completely different to a human's, right? So there's no way we could have a common ancestor. And plus because all that information just can't happen, right? It just can't happen through gene duplication over time. It's absurd. But they use these stupid arguments, and they know they're wrong. They don't care. They just want to answer. They just want to win the argument and say these ridiculous things that evolutionists have this, like, I think they even have a book to how to answer and defend evolution and stuff like that, which is, it's so ridiculous. And it's all because they're enemies of God and they rise up against God. So personally, I hate atheists because they are such fools. They are such, and it's because I hate God. That's simply because I hate God. And because that's the strength of their science. Okay? Strength of their argument. And it's because I hate God. It's not because they sin. We all sin. We're all great sinners. I don't hate them because of whatever sin they do, right? Because we all sin. So it's not like being self-righteous and saying, I'm better than you. But in a sense I am, because I do acknowledge, even though I'm a sinner, I acknowledge God as the only remedy. I don't reject him for the sake of that sin. And that's why I hate them. I hate them that hate God. I don't know if that's a sin. No, it says love your enemies. But I think that's an action thing. That's just being nice to them, sort of thing, not attacking them or anything like that, because love does no harm to his neighbour. So it's kind of like an action thing. So, but it's the whole, they're just their mindset, atheism. They're just such fools. You ever talk to an atheist? They're such fools. They're just such insufferable fools who think that they are wise simply because they don't believe in God. They think that's their wisdom. But they have to make up this thing called evolution, which, if anyone understands, like I said, genomes, all species reproduction is limited by the genome. We see that in dogs. No matter, you get a poodle, you get a chihuahua, you get a foxy, but it's still got the same chromosome count. It's still got the wolf. It's just a variation of the wolf chromosome of the genome. There's no change in the genome itself. There's loss of information through selective breeding, but the chromosome count is still there. That means the allele frequencies have been lost. But there's no evidence that through reproduction genomes change. There's absolutely no evidence, and the evidence that there is, like chromosome disorders, copy errors, and whatever, are only harmful. So there's no evidence for this evolution. It's all just an answer to do away with the existence of God. And that's why it just makes me so angry. But I hate them that hate God with a perfect hatred. And it's not because of their sin. Because we're all sinners. I hate them because I hate God. They want nothing to do with God. And to me, they're like rotted corpse. Like Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead and follow me. They're like the walking dead. It's like being around a dead, rotted corpse full of maggots and flies. And they think that that's life, and they think that they're so wise and smart. So I hate atheism because the whole thing is about hating God. I hate them that hate you. Let's read that verse from David one more time. What a great verse. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies.